Hello and good day. Welcome to our video channel, God's Promises. And today's video will be a fast, concise overview, Book of 1 Samuel, chapter 3. Let's get started now. The book of 1 Samuel chapter 3 is a significant chapter in the Bible, as it tells the story of God calling the prophet Samuel. The chapter teaches us about the importance of listening to God's voice, responding to his call, and following his will. The story begins with the young Samuel, who is serving in the temple of the Lord under the high priest Eli. One night, as Samuel is lying down to sleep, he hears a voice calling out to him. Samuel assumes that it is Eli calling him and runs to the high priest's side, but Eli tells Samuel that he did not call him and instructs him to go back to bed. This happens 3 times, and finally, Eli realizes that it is God who is calling Samuel. Eli tells Samuel to respond to God by saying, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." When Samuel does this, God reveals to him a message of judgment against Eli's family for their disobedience and corruption. The story of Samuel's call teaches us several important lessons. Firstly, it shows us the importance of listening to God's voice. Samuel was able to hear God's call because he was attentive and listening for it. Similarly, we need to be attuned to God's voice in our own lives through prayer, meditation, and reading the Bible. Secondly, the story of Samuel's call shows us the importance of responding to God's call. Samuel's initial assumption that it was Eli calling him illustrates how easy it is for us to misunderstand or ignore God's call in our lives. When we hear God's voice, we need to respond to it, even if it is difficult or uncomfortable. Finally, the story of Samuel's call teaches us about the importance of following God's will. Samuel's message from God was not an easy one to deliver, as it involved judgment against Eli's family. However, Samuel was faithful to God's call and delivered the message as instructed. In our own lives, we need to be willing to follow God's will, even when it is difficult or uncomfortable. This may involve making sacrifices, taking risks, or stepping out of our comfort zones. But when we follow God's will, we can trust that He will guide us and use us for His purposes. In conclusion, the book of 1 Samuel chapter 3 is a powerful and insightful chapter that teaches us about the importance of listening to God's voice, responding to His call, and following His will. Through Samuel's story, we are reminded that God has a plan for our lives and that we need to be attentive to His voice, obedient to His call, and willing to follow His will, no matter where it may lead us. May we all be inspired by Samuel's example of faith and obedience, and may we strive to listen to God's voice and follow His will in our own lives. Thank you for visiting us today. Please share with us your favorite Bible chapter below in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help our channel grow. Looking forward to see you back here for our next video. Always take good care.